Imagine stepping into a world where every choice you make could tip the scales between life and death. A world so vivid, so alive with mystery, that the line between right and wrong blurs with every passing moment. Avowed, Obsidian's bold. New RPG promises just that. A vast, immersive experience where the stakes are nothing short of personal survival. But is it everything Xbox and Obsidian have hyped it to be? Or is it just another game with lofty promises? For years, Obsidian has earned its place as one of the masters of role-playing games. With titles like Pillars of Eternity, they've shaped some of the most intricate and beloved worlds in gaming. But Avowed isn't just another chapter in their legacy, it's their biggest gamble yet. A sprawling fantasy set in the meticulously crafted world of Eora, Avowed, promises a unique blend of magic, gunpowder, and deep lore. It's not just about fighting monsters or casting spells. It's about how you interact with the very fabric of reality, how your choices can change the course of history itself. Yet, there's an unsettling feeling that hangs over this grand world. It's a feeling that follows you as you explore its dark corners, interact with its strange inhabitants, and face its terrifying monsters. The world feels real, but something is off. The narrative, it doesn't quite grab you. The characters, while richly designed, don't quite strike that deep emotional chord. Avowed offers you a universe of possibilities, but does it live up to the weight of its own ambition? This is the moment where the game's true challenge lies, not in its combat, nor in its world building, but in the internal conflict it asks from you. Will you be captivated by the adventure, or will the cracks in its story be too loud to ignore? Let's find out. First impressions, is it worth the hype? I went in with low expectations after seeing the trailers, but I was pleasantly surprised. What makes Avowed stand out from the crowd? It's rare for a game to take you by surprise, especially when you've already formed an opinion based on the early trailers. But Avowed did just that. The combat? It's fun, fast, responsive, punchy. You feel like you're in control of every strike, every dodge. It's exhilarating, but is it enough? You can tell right away that Avowed has an energy to it, like it's constantly moving forward, pushing you to dive deeper into its world. The combat system feels fluid, with the right amount of challenge to keep you engaged. Whether you're weaving through attacks, casting spells, or slashing your way through waves of enemies, the gameplay delivers a satisfying rhythm. The action is always just one button away, and it's a blast, at least for the first few hours. But is this just a fleeting moment of excitement? Or does the game have something more to offer beyond the instant gratification of battle? The world, too, is vibrant and alive in ways that stand out in the crowded RPG genre. Pirates and magic, strange creatures and fierce factions. It's a setting that feels fresh and unique. You can almost smell the sea air as you sail across distant lands, and the buzzing atmosphere of its cities invites you to explore every corner. It feels different, but is that enough to make it memorable? While the world building is certainly impressive, there's something missing, a certain depth that you can't quite put your finger on. It's as if the world exists, but there's a veil over it, making it hard to truly connect with the environment in the same way we've connected with Obsidian's past creations. And then there's the story. Avowed might be set in a universe of rich lore and fascinating creatures, but the characters and plot just didn't hook me the way I expected from Obsidian. There's a sense of ambition here for sure, but the narrative doesn't feel as gripping or immersive as it should be. The dialogue sometimes drags on, and while the world is alive with action, it's hard to invest in the stakes when the emotional connections with the characters aren't as strong. It's not a deal breaker, but I kept waiting for that one moment. The click to make me care about the story, it never really came. So is Avowed worth the hype? It's definitely fun, but whether it'll stay with you long after the credits roll? Well, that's still up for debate. The gameplay is solid, but the narrative struggles to keep pace, and that, I think, will be the deciding factor for many. Will you fall in love with the adventure? Or will the lack of a compelling story make this game fade into the background of your RPG library? The world of Eora, a living, breathing fantasy. But what about the world itself? Does Avowed deliver a world worth exploring, or does it feel like more of the same? The first thing that stands out about Avowed is the world of Eora. It's not your typical RPG landscape. This is a place where the familiar meets the unexpected. Yes, there are knights and swords, but there are also pirates and rifles. Avowed offers a unique take on fantasy by mixing traditional medieval elements with more modern, even steampunk concepts. Imagine sailing across a vast ocean, firing a rifle at strange creatures as magic swirls around you. This isn't your average fantasy world. It's vibrant, unpredictable, and filled with the promise of discovery at every turn, and that's not pushes the envelope by exploring deeper, more existential themes. The world of Eora is steeped in lore, with reincarnation and life after death being central themes. As you explore, you're constantly reminded of the cycle of life, of God's mortality, and what comes after. These aren't just ideas that sit in the background either. They're woven into the very fabric of the story, shaping the way the world works and the people who inhabit it. Could this be the game that redefines how we think about RPG lore? Imagine a game where the stakes aren't just about surviving the next battle, but about understanding the delicate balance between life and death, reincarnation, and the souls that cross into new lives. Yet for all its promise, there's a lingering question. Does this world-building elevate the stakes, or does it merely serve as a colorful backdrop to the same old mechanics? While Eora's setting is rich with possibilities, there's a sense that the world's lore and themes are sometimes overshadowed by the game's core gameplay. The vibrant world is there, but does it truly come alive in a way that shapes your experience? Or is it just window dressing to make the game feel more immersive? As you venture deeper into the lands of Eora, you can't help but wonder if the beauty of this world will be enough to keep you invested. Does the lore have the power to guide your choices, or will it be lost amidst the standard RPG mechanics that have come to define the genre? The world of Eora offers something different, something fresh, but whether it's enough to sustain your interest in the long run is still a question worth asking. So, does Avowed deliver a world worth exploring? Or is it all just a beautiful world that falls short of living up to its potential? The answer might depend on whether you're looking for a game that blends exciting mechanics with a truly immersive world, or if you're content with a setting that's more window dressing than a driving force. The potential is there, but does it live up to the hype? The character creator, a gateway to personalization. Ever wanted to create a character that truly reflects your vision? Avowed promises deep customization, but does it deliver? In many RPGs, character creation is a make-or-break feature. It's where you get to build your hero from the ground up, crafting their looks, abilities, and even their story. And Avowed takes this concept to the next level. With a character creator that offers freedom without overwhelming you with endless sliders, it strikes a balance that feels both refreshing and exciting. You can design a character that truly feels yours, whether that's a mighty warrior with glowing runes or someone with a more grounded look. The options are plentiful, but they're not endless, and that's where the beauty lies. It's enough to create a unique character without drowning in the minutiae. But customization isn't just skin deep. Avowed goes further by giving you the freedom to choose how your character will interact with the world. Will you specialize in brutal melee combat, take advantage of range with powerful bows and rifles, or master the arcane arts with magic? Each choice feels impactful, shaping how you play and what abilities you unlock as you level up. But here's the catch. While the game encourages you to experiment with different playstyles, does it end up sacrificing focus? The freedom to mix and match different abilities and traits is exciting, but at times it feels like Avowed might be trying to do too much, giving you a world of possibilities that can dilute the overall experience. One of the most intriguing aspects of Avowed's character creator is the backstory you get to choose for your character. It's not just about picking a face or a weapon. It's about choosing a past that influences how people in the world interact with you. Your character's history, their godlike heritage, and even their moral compass shape how NPCs treat you and what dialogue options you unlock. It adds a layer of depth that makes the game feel more personal. as if you're not just playing a character, but living their story. But does this backstory really influence the world in any meaningful way? Or is it just a fun extra feature that doesn't have much of an impact on the actual gameplay? The character creator in Avowed is undeniably exciting, offering a lot of room for creativity and personalization. But as you craft your character, it's worth wondering, does all this customization actually enhance your experience? Or is it just another distraction from the core story and gameplay? The balance between freedom and focus will be something that many players will have to decide for themselves. Combat, fluid, fast, and fun. So how does Avowed feel in action? Let's talk combat. Is it the next evolution, or just another hack and slash? From the moment you swing your sword in Avowed, you feel it. The combat is faster, more responsive, and way punchier than expected. It's not your typical hack and slash RPG. Avowed brings a level of dynamism and fluidity that makes every fight feel alive. The enemies react with real-time feedback, and you can almost feel the weight of each strike as you cut down ghouls or blast away monsters with your magic. There's a chaos to the combat, but it's a chaos with purpose. Each attack, dodge, and spell feels like it's adding to something bigger, keeping you constantly engaged. What makes Avowed stand out is its weapon variety. Whether you're wielding a massive two-handed sword, taking enemies down from a distance with a rifle, or casting devastating spells, each playstyle feels equally rewarding. Melee combat is brutal and satisfying, with every swing feeling impactful. Ranged combat offers precision, letting you snipe enemies from afar, while magic brings a sense of flair, letting you blast foes with explosive spells. The beauty here is that no matter what weapon or playstyle you choose, Avowed makes it feel like a worthwhile experience. But here's the question. Does it stay exciting over time, or does it start to feel repetitive as the novelty wears off? The real kicker in Avowed is its freedom and flexibility. Want to switch between melee and magic on the fly? You can. Feel like trying something crazy, like using ranged weapons alongside a shield or running around with a dagger and a pistol? The game encourages that kind of experimentation, and the combat system adapts to whatever playstyle you throw at it. But here's the catch. Does it end up feeling like you're a jack-of-all-trades, master of none? While it's fun to jump between different combat styles, there's a nagging feeling that this freedom might sacrifice depth. Will the ability to mix and match weapons make each battle feel fresh, or will it leave the combat lacking real complexity as the game goes on? Eora's combat is undeniably fun, but whether it has the staying power to keep you coming back for more is something to think about. As the game progresses, will the excitement from its fast-paced action begin to fade, or will the dynamic nature of the combat keep it engaging? If you're someone who thrives on experimentation, this could be your paradise. But if you're looking for something with a bit more depth, the game might struggle to hold your attention long-term. Performance and technical aspects, the good and the bad. It looks great, but does Avowed perform well? Let's talk tech. Is it a seamless experience, or are there issues lurking beneath the surface? From a visual standpoint, Avowed is undeniably stunning. The art direction is nothing short of gorgeous, with a color palette that breathes life into every corner of its world. The NPCs are meticulously detailed, and the environments are rich and immersive, making it easy to get lost in the world of Eora. The landscapes are vibrant, and the cities, filled with bustling crowds and dynamic weather, feel alive. It's the kind of visual design that makes you stop and admire your surroundings. Every area in the game is thoughtfully crafted, drawing you into the experience as much as the gameplay itself. But, and there's always a but, technical performance does cast a shadow over the game's beauty. The frame rate dips, especially when you're exploring busy areas or during large-scale battles. And texture pop-ins can be noticeable when you're moving through more complex environments. These aren't game-breaking issues, but they're hard to ignore, particularly when you're immersed in such a visually rich world. The occasional drop in performance can pull you out of the experience, leaving you frustrated as the game stutters or textures take a moment too long to load. Are these small hiccups enough to ruin the experience, or are they just minor inconveniences? As for overall technical stability, Avowed isn't perfect. While it's entirely playable and generally runs smoothly, the performance inconsistencies could be a deal-breaker for some players. Crashes aren't a major issue, but the frame rate fluctuations and texture issues can sometimes make the world feel less polished than it should be. At the end of the day, the question remains, does the visual appeal and the world building justify these technical shortcomings? The art and design are undoubtedly beautiful, but can you look past the performance issues, or do they diminish the overall experience? The answer may vary from player to player, but it's worth considering how much technical performance impacts your enjoyment of a game, especially when the visuals and world building are so captivating. Final thoughts. Is Avowed worth your time? So, after hours of gameplay, is Avowed worth diving into? Here's my final verdict. Avowed has a lot going for it. The combat is undeniably fun, fast, fluid, and full of exciting moments that make every encounter feel satisfying. The world is vibrant and rich with potential, offering a beautiful landscape filled with unique creatures, pirates, and magic. The character customization is deep, allowing you to build a truly personalized experience, which makes you feel like you're shaping your own adventure. However, there are some significant drawbacks. The story, while rich in lore, struggles to hook you in the way you'd expect from an Obsidian RPG. The characters feel flat at times, and despite the game's immersive world, the emotional connections with the narrative just aren't as strong as they could be. Then, of course, there are the technical issues. Frame rate dips and texture pop-ins that, while not game-breaking, certainly detract from the overall experience. So, is Avowed worth your time? For some, it might just be the RPG of the year, offering a fun, fast-paced experience in a beautifully realized world. For others, the lack of a compelling story and the technical inconsistencies might be a deal-breaker. But if you're a fan of RPGs, especially those that encourage experimentation and exploration, it's definitely worth a try. Ultimately, Avowed may not be the perfect game, but it's got enough potential to make it worth considering, especially if you're looking for a new world to get lost in. What do you think? Will you dive in, or will you wait to see how it evolves? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts.